Coaches and affiliate owners, we are super excited to launch our FitFilliate Founders League. It is hosted over on the school platform, and you'll find a link in the show notes or a link in our bio over on Instagram. This is a group where there will be higher level conversation, higher level thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, a little bit of fun, but the end game is everybody is helping everybody else be better. So I'll see you over there. And I don't know that Tony could run
past full speed.
Well, on that note, welcome back to the next episode of the FitFilliate Podcast. Tony is sugared up and maybe a little caffeinated, but
it's a bit ironic given the topic of this conversation. You got the queen of health over here, and I'm just over here chugging sugar on this episode.
Yeah, well,
cheers, everyone.
We don't put on airs and graces for our guests. We're just completely authentic.
It would be really fun to do a series where you have a CGM on and we try all these different types of
Let's do it. I got one. Where is it?
And we could in real time watch what spikes your glucose levels and figure out what you should and should not eat.
That would be fun.
Garmin already talks enough shit to me all day long. I don't need another thing telling me that my life is a lie.
So, anywho, let's regain control. We are joined by the one and only Jenn Pishko from CrossFit Medical Society. Excited to have you back for, I think this is your fourth appearance, so that's a record for any guest.
It was a three-part last time.
And we've got Mr. Kerry Hare jumping in to, I'm not going to say replace, but he's subbing in for Mr. Charlesworth today. So could be an audition. It might be a permanent switch. Let's just tell him that. And of course, joined by Tony. And
let's be honest, Kerry and Jen are here just to make us look more attractive. They're just bringing up the attractive quotient here. So Lisa and I just hang out over here and just talk shit to each other. It's fine.
just a regular Wednesday for you guys. So welcome, Jen. I know that we've got lots of things to dig into. You guys have had lots of stuff happening since last we spoke. So let's dig in, guys.
Yeah. So I think did we tease that there was going to be a medical society the last time we recorded? I don't know that it was public at that point.
I think it was only a tease. I don't think, I mean, I know that you and we had talked about it, but I don't think it was public on the podcast at that point.
Right. So for context, back in June, so the beginning of June, Tom and I essentially co-founded and launched the CrossFit Medical Society. And what happened was CrossFit Health, which has been around from 2017 pretty much, as a collection of physicians that practiced CrossFit and could go out and get their MDL1s or MDL2s and network and kind of collaborate with each other, and then got support from different components of healthcare providers, but there was no real framework, if you will, about how we're going to connect these providers or connect them with affiliate owners, or what does, the next wave or phase of something with a little bit more framework, what does it look like? So we are given the opportunity to kind of present a version of that, and CrossFit Health transitioned itself over to the CrossFit Medical Society. So took over the Instagram, have been working very closely with CrossFit, Mike G, especially in connecting the things that we want to do from our mission with HQ in general, reaching out to the affiliate owners, their coaches, getting, hopefully communication out to the community as well. And then also providing a opportunity for healthcare professionals really from all different disciplines. So not just doctors, but nurses, RNs, PTs, OTs, acupuncturists, like anybody and everybody that can elevate someone's personal healthcare journey, the opportunity to come into the medical society and connect and be a resource. And so that was the idea, right? That got kicked off in June.
That's a big idea.
That's a big idea.
I think it's actually helpful that you broke it down that way, because I do think that was one piece of it that I want to jump into, which was kind of the overarching structure of, quote unquote, what is the medical society? Because I think I think most people know, obviously they know what it is because it's become very popular recently, but I'm not entirely sure that they understood like where it fits in the veil of things. And so I think that's very helpful for people to hear like how the idea morphed or the identity or the structure morphed into what it was.
Yeah. And really, if the elevator pitch, which is definitely going to be probably more than 60 seconds, but if you think of it as just an ecosystem, right? And what we're trying to do is provide tools and resources into that ecosystem to allow the organic growth of what we're essentially calling a health home, right? Because we know that health can start and be maintained in the CrossFit affiliate, and the coaches already do and owners already do some of the most important work to advocate for health. And Tony and Lisa, we've talked about this, I mean, in the podcast before, but the hard part is then how do you take different things or new things, right, and bring them into your affiliate and create a expression of health that your community can then take advantage of to support wherever they are in their healthcare journey over time, right? And so that's what we're really trying to build, right, is the ecosystem to connect all three of those pieces.
You're on mute. There you go.
I know, Lisa. I know that I was on mute. I think it's obviously a lot easier now because when you were on last time, there was definitely this coming, and it was kind of like, what do we say? And I think it was more along the lines of like the overarching philosophy of it. And I'm glad now that there's a more tactical and we can discuss more openly.
Yeah.
So I know you were at, was it last weekend was the first time you really kind of announced this, right?
The community care?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it's more from the medical society in terms of like, this is the structure, this is the outreach, this is the intention of it, I guess. And then, so last week was like one of the first big, I don't know what I would call that.
I guess an initiative or program.
Good word for it.
Yeah. So, prior to this, we created the platform for continuing medical education credits for providers, right? So they can get ACCME category 1, like the good shit, right? The top tier credits that, we worked with HQ to do. So that was kind of like one initiative. We did provide or launch the biomarkers, right? So you have a direct to consumer lab panel that, anybody can go on and purchase. I'll say maybe that's like the second initiative. And then this one is the newest one. So it's a crowd funding healthcare alternative for the CrossFit community. Right now, first rolling out to coaches and owners.
I love it. I guess so. Is that mostly the cliff notes of the? Obviously, I wasn't there last weekend, but was that mostly the cliff notes of what was announced? Or I guess could you break down how you guys rolled it out to the audience? I guess that's the word, the audience.
Yeah. So Tom gave a talk, during the summit, and it really. It was kind of like this
very soothing. It was
very
elegant.
Very soothing. Yeah. It was delivered eloquently in a very, very compassionate way, but it outlined
Fergie and Jesus.
You'll get to hear a bit of it at the thing next weekend.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you'll get a piece of that. But it really outlined, I think, the state of healthcare in our country right now, or the state of health in our country right now, and its dysfunction, right? And so before even talking about ways to improve or to find a solution, right, we're talking about, the implications of what happens when big food and big pharma and the industrial medical complex all are essentially in cahoots together, playing off of a sick care system where everybody's benefiting but the individual, and definitely theoretically not the people that are investing in their health, right? And as CrossFit affiliate owners and coaches, we're in a position where not only do we care about our own health, but we're also trying to elevate the health of our communities, and we're fighting against the grain, against an overarching system that is structured to make sure that people can't advocate or take advantage of healthy lifestyles. So that was the narrative that went into, one of the solutions. And it's kind of taking a deep look at, well, what if we do something different, right? What if we say, we're not going to keep paying into a sick care system? What if we look at what it means to create a system that actually values and rewards a community that is focused on health and maintaining health and improving health and supporting each other in the process?
Totally. I mean, I love it, but you know that you and I talk about that quite a bit. I wonder sometimes, do you feel like it's still somewhat lost on the affiliate owners at large, or do you think that like now, because it's a little bit more tactical, they're starting to understand like the implication or the value this might actually apply to their affiliate?
Yeah. I think for me, I'm still kind of in fact finding and trying to get feedback and questions and ways that we can, because this is an education process, right? Because it's not apples to apples. This is apples to oranges, right? So if you're thinking about what a crowdfunding healthcare approach is, it's not insurance, right? And
Right.
very clearly we have to discuss that. So it's an understanding and education that, assessing the needs of you as an individual to be able to feel secure in how you're going to pay for healthcare comes with education. I do think that, and we can talk about numbers and stuff if you want to, but I do think that we're able to identify ways that are tactical applications of improving the financial status of affiliate owners through one of the most costly expenses that we as Americans, especially small business owners, deal with, right? And this is from personal experience because I've owned an affiliate for a decade and healthcare has been a nightmare and an expensive one for a really long time. Well,
don't pay it. Or your taxes.
Fuck the man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you know the numbers off the top of your head, I would love to know, if you want to give me the bullet points or the talking points. I think I could assume what they are, but I think for everybody listening, they would be helpful.
No, definitely. So on average, right, a family of 4 is paying in premiums close to $24,000 a year on average. So they're paying that much to have access to pay more for
health. Hear that, Lisa? But it's welcome to America over here.
It's the same thing over here. It's just as drastic and dramatic, and people paying into it. And then, you're right. They paying to have access to pay more when they actually need some sort of treatment and they find out that it's not covered.
Exactly. So we have that number, and obviously it's less for an individual, right? So it's anywhere from, 7 to 9,000 being the average for an individual's yearly premium, kind of depending. Then you have your deductibles, which is a whole other situation, and the things that are excluded or included in what you're paying for health insurance, right? And then when you go that route, you have this middleman that exists in between you and your doctor that one can decide if you should or should not get the care that your doctor says you should have, because there's that whole thing. Like, doctor says I should have this. Insurance company goes, it's not necessary. There's a great YouTube video out there, and I can send it to you guys after, that essentially lays this out in real time where, people that are not doctors and are not caring for you can make a decision on whether or not somebody that knows your health and understands your health history, if you can even get that paid for by the insurance company, right? So that's dysfunctional in and of itself. But then you also have this bureaucratic system that is costing money to run itself, that decides how much everybody gets out of this pie. And there's 2 groups of people that are fundamentally, I don't want to say attacked, but fundamentally like the subject of harm here. And it's me, right? It's the consumer. And it's also the doctor, right? It's the physician. They're getting shit on too, because they're getting fractions of what they should be able to take home from their care and services based on all of these things that happen between where we are and like what we're paying into, right? So it's a financial system of dysfunction from a number standpoint. And it's when you really get into the weeds of it, like it's frightening.
Well, I'm nauseous.
Dun.
I don't like the, I don't like
more numbers for you if you want. So what were you saying?
First of all, I love numbers, so they're fun, but these are not very happy numbers.
No.
I love it for a lot of different reasons. I think the hard part always on this podcast is for me to try to figure out what is valuable to the people who are listening to it, because I think I'll just drag us down rabbit holes of numbers and geeking out and nerdular nerding, so to speak, of things like that. And I want people to get it. And so one of the reasons why obviously we became fast friends quickly, even after Austin, but like the first podcast and then now this follow-up, and then I'm sure several more to come, is for me, the thing that is not only exciting is that, one, yes, we've now found or you guys have found rather, a tactical application of what is this CrossFit health thing, which was kind of like this we get it, we love it, we believe in it, but what do we do with it type of thing. Yeah. And so now it's awesome. It's relieving. It's all the things to know that there's a direction that directly impacts or applies to not only affiliate owners, but CrossFitters in general, which I think is super cool, at least in the future anyways. And then obviously coaches as well. Because no doubt about it, like you said, as a business owner, healthcare is an absurd expense, right? And for all the reasons, it's more frustrating for, I think, as an affiliate owner, as a small business owner, because we're like, we have the solution.
Yeah,
we are the key. Can we just pay it to ourselves and keep that contribution? Because we're actually solving this problem over here, and the government's like, no, we need you to pay us so that these other sick people could, they can get their fair share of it too. So I think that's a lot of feel good stuff. But from another side of it, what I think is really cool about it is that it gives, potentially, as it applies and it rolls out to more people, it gives a higher level conversation, or an opportunity to have a higher level conversation for both the affiliate owners and the coaches, as to what kind of voice do they want to have with their client. And I think, for up until this point, really up until this tactical directive, it was mostly like, how do we want to talk about CrossFit? Yeah, that was kind of the extent of it. There was some nuance to it, just go this or that. And now, obviously, we're huge proponents of coaching versus training, right? Mm-hmm. And so, where I think this really falls into is almost a clear delineation, because I think what you'll see is a lot of affiliate owners be like, right over their head, doesn't apply to me, not interested, etc. And those are the people who are just selling training, right? They're just selling CrossFit. Yep. They're like, we're a place to do it. Here's what the workouts are. But the people who are sitting down, giving prescriptions, involved in some sort of consultative model with each one of their clients, this is a huge opportunity, because now it takes them from just being a high-priced gym membership, right? To you are my health home. And that's, why you and I got so excited in the beginning, is I was like, this makes so much sense, because I've sat down for years with people being like, don't worry about what I'm going to do. Let's figure out what it is that you need. Because I already knew that CrossFit was going to work. That was always going to be the prescription. Yep. Now it's even more salient, I suppose, and to some degree. They're like, oh, I'm literally basically getting my actual prescription from here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a huge point, and 100%. And I think part of the reason, or part of the driving force behind trying to create as many opportunities or resources in this ecosystem is so that whatever the affiliate owner can handle, right, there's hopefully a way for them to internalize or educate themselves, or at least have something to direct their members to that can educate and level up the value of the affiliate within their community. Because there's a couple things that we know that are kind of going on, in the industry and in our country, generally speaking, and in the world, right? And it's the loss of the ability to create human connection across the board. The affiliate does a really good job of creating community, right? With their 150 to 200 people. Yes, maybe it's based around thrusters and burpees and whatever, but that's an integral part of our biological need to be human. And so the affiliate owner does that, right? And there's plenty of reasons why that in and of itself is enough to improve someone's health outcome, right? But then now we're looking at, there's an understanding, I think, that's coming in the healthcare industry and fitness and wellness combined. And you can look at it through different companies that have put money in to, training centers in Lifetime and Equinox, where there's kind of this new innovative approach to how we're going to be reaching the masses. And now we're going to combine access to certain types of healthcare to training, right? We could talk about this for another 3 hours, and whether it's pharmaceutical based or it doesn't matter, but it's happening, right? They're projecting that this health and fitness space is going to be upwards of $6 billion worth of revenue, over the next year, right? Because of the amount of people that are flooding into this kind of concocted, revamping connection of these things, right? You look at, I think it was Equinox. I could be wrong. It could be a different big box gym, but they've aligned themselves with Function Health. And now they're charging members $40,000 a year for access to a big box gym, a couple cold plunges, a biomarker panel, and you get a physician consult, right? Like, this is where we are, right? And affiliate owners will lose out on the mobilization of the masses of people that now want to understand what this space means if we can't take an innovative approach to not only what we know has worked for the 20 plus years, but then just have resources for those that want to start ingraining some of this into their messaging, into their membership, into the ways that they bring people in. Like, we need to have that as an option, right? So.
And I think, one of the big hurdles will be for affiliate owners to get past the limiting beliefs and narratives. And I know we've talked about it before, to understand the true value of providing this, and also the true value of what they do provide beyond burpees and thrusters. Mm-hmm. And I think, when you threw out that number, like, that big box gym that's, $40,000 a year, I guarantee you just about every affiliate owner that listens to this had a mini stroke and went,
unbelievable.
Well, I could never charge that. I couldn't even charge like a tenth of that. But once, they can get their head around and truly harness the power of this offering, and also what they actually already do with a small investment of a little additional time with each client or new client, like, it's exponential. But they've got to get past that little sticking point, I think, where they're like, they don't see that value or understand that, and they get in their own way.
Mm-hmm. Tony, you're really good at talking with folks about that.
Seems to be, unfortunately for me. I guess to that point, though, Lisa, I don't think they had a mini stroke. In fact, I think they had a temper tantrum, because what my experience is, anecdotal or otherwise, is one of the biggest problems across is it's too good. It works too well. And we know this to be true without a shadow of a doubt. Anybody who's a part of an affiliate knows that, quite literally, from needing a promotion at work, getting a new wife, to getting off diabetes medicine, to, like, you name it, this thing will literally solve it. And it's created a sense of entitlement. And so, to Jenn's point about how I think when affiliate owners hear about this $40,000 in this big box trend and they're going to miss out, I don't think a lot of times they do understand that they're going to miss out, because I think in a lot of cases, one of the struggles with affiliate owners that we know it works so well, we feel like we're entitled to the attention that we deserve in the audience, and you're not going to get it. You are required, you are tasked, you are burdened with the obligation of going out into the public and talking about this thing. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's a hard part of it. And they're like, they see Equinox charge $40,000, they just scoff. They're like, and then they get mad, or they see another gym do a thing, or Carrie and I talked about this yesterday in terms of, like, the other cheese dick brands, Orange Theory, et cetera. Like, they think that, like, they don't deserve to have 500 clients when they open their doors for the first time, but they do, because they're much better at talking about the terrible thing that they do better than the good thing that you guys do. And so I'm happy that this opportunity presents itself as, I'll call it a crossroads in the affiliate landscape, where people get to choose. They kind of get the shit or get out type of thing, where it's like, listen, it was hard. I get it, to go forward and be like, let me tell you about this really hard workout, thrusters, burpees, near-death experience. Like, because maybe it seemed cliche, maybe even sometimes corny to talk to somebody about it. But all of us, every human respects health, right? Yep. Every human respects mortality. Hopefully they also respect vitality, maybe to some degree. We can come back to that in a second. But, everybody understands that, like, hey, I don't want to get dead, right? I'm trying to live, right? But the unfortunate part of it is that most people just want a longer life. They don't necessarily inherently think about having a better life.
That's 100%.
Yeah. And so as affiliate owners, with what you guys have put together, they almost are literally just given this opportunity now to take the thing that we already know works, right? Like, undeniably, because here's what Equinox doesn't have. Probably gonna get sued if we keep mentioning that name. Is they don't have a guaranteed program that works 100% of the time. And it might be callous of me to say it, but CrossFit does work 100% of the time, period. I've never seen it fail. I've seen a lot of people fail at it, right, but I've never seen it on a long enough time horizon fail. And what a lot of those other big box gyms don't have is that proven model that works every single time. They've got some good programs, right? I'll be the first to admit it. Like, those things are hard. They're good workouts. They do a good job at their singular or incidental outputs or intentions, but like from a holistic sort of change your whole life perspective,
right,
that's a little bit different. And so now, I guess going back to my point about talking about it, I think sometimes affiliate owners got a little bit insecure about, talking to a stranger in the grocery store, or like somebody in the daycare line, or this or that. But I think now, and I think one of the root causes of that, I suppose, was there was some insecurity of like, I'm just a fitness person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just this
Yep.
thing. And if we can understand that, armed with what you guys are doing, we get to elevate their status, elevate their credentials, so to speak,
And
to have
confidence.
higher level conversations. Yeah. And like now, maybe they'll start tugging on shirt strings and be like, hey, let me tell you about the thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No, I mean, I would hope so. I think there's a lot to unpack there, like philosophically, with kind of like the shit I get off the pot thing for the affiliate owner. And it's hard to talk about things without feeling like you're pigeonholing any one example into it. But, if we're
You
just
feel attacked, you are. Just saying. Throwing that out there.
But like, to your point, we're not just fitness coaches. We're not just fitness trainers. Like, we do a hell of a lot more than that, right? And if you want referrals from providers, and if you want to be taken seriously in the healthcare community, like, you got to shit or get off the pot, right? You can't have a crackpot website and just assume that a doctor is going to say, hey, go up the street to the warehouse, knock 3 times, go in, and then your health is going to be improved, right? Like, we have to, be a little bit more innovative than that. And we have to realize what ring we're potentially stepping into, whether we want to or not, right? Because health and fitness are coming together, right? It is a evolution of what's happening in the spaces. You can read for days about a lot of the stuff. You look, and I don't want to go down any sort of political route, but you can look at what's being advocated for in a number of different ways about how the healthcare system is a sick care system and how sick our country is. Like, this is a hot button item. And if we're going to say that we do fitness better than anybody, and we're also going to define fitness and define health, which we do, which we know works, to Tony's point, 100% of the time, like, I see no better time for CrossFit and CrossFit affiliate owners and coaches to have the opportunity to put on their big girl and boy pants and be like, look at me over here, because I've had the answer for 20 years. And now that everybody wants to pay attention to how we're going to like improve people's health, like, I got the answer, right? And it's here. And if, having the backing of a medical society that has ongoing research being dumped into our website and sent out to our providers and access to our like coaches and owners, if that helps you talk more clearly about why what we do actually improves health outcomes, it's free. Like, this is here to help you. So
I want to be uninformed affiliate owner, right? Like, I've heard about it. It's CrossFit Medical Society. Okay. Like, I kind of grasp what it is. I hear what you're saying. Is it as simple as, well, I have an in-body. Am I kind of replacing or adding something that's, an in-body quality? And now I have an upcharge for, a subset of my members. I've got 200 people, and I think maybe I might get 20 of them that want to get a blood panel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how does that integrate? And like, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So then that's a really good question. And I don't want to mess around with screen sharing in any capacity, but like, my affiliates website, right, has CrossFit as a drop-down navigation bar, all the things and memberships, but then it also has Health Home next to it. And on that drop-down, it talks about nutrition offerings, right? It talks about health and performance, where we're doing VO2 max and we're doing in-body and body compositions. And then it also talks about primary care, because those are the services that I offer, right? In addition to, $170 a month for unlimited CrossFit, like, you can do any one of these things, right? Even just talk to me or one of my coaches or GMs or Tom about what it means if I have questions about this. And so, yeah, but just like every affiliate you walk into is going to look a little bit different. The coach has a little bit of a different background. They've done things differently. They're an organic expression of their community. However, their health home comes to fruition. There we go. Thanks. However, their health home.
Magic. I didn't even know we could do that.
I feel real fancy now.
We're all professional.
However it comes to fruition, like that's
your tabs are cleaned up. That could have been bad, being a surprise screen share.
That's why I checked it before I did it.
Fair enough. Good job, Lisa.
It can be the organic expression of what makes sense to your community, right? And you as the affiliate owner are the best person to service the needs of what your community needs. My community is 35 and up, middle white class to very wealthy that want to feel relevant. They want to have like health span and lifespan. They, want to know this. There could be veteran communities where mental health is a thing. Like this is where you advocate for the needs of your community and pull from hopefully the resources that we're providing and take from that what you can do to improve what you need to, right? We did a grand rounds, a webinar with one of our healthcare providers, and she owns an affiliate. She's got a PhD. I'm going to mess it up, and psychology, I think. And in her affiliate, her health home is structured around mental health, right? And mental fitness and resilience. And she has a PT in there and she has an OT in there. And so they do all that. Doesn't have primary care, right? But for her, she's doing what she believes to be the most beneficial thing for her community. And we get to be individuals, right? The affiliate owner thrives on its individuality and not some scaled cookie cutter.
As long as that's preserved.
Yeah. And I think
fight for that guy.
We, affiliate owners, and I know we talked about this on the other episodes that we did with you guys, is that sometimes they don't know how to have that conversation with somebody. Like, am I crossing a line asking about their health? But like having the CrossFit Medical Society behind you gives you the information you need to be able to have those conversations and not feel like, am I overstepping? Is like, I feel weird about it. Like, and understanding as affiliate owners, we need to get past some of that weird feeling that we have and understand that we need to have deeper conversations with our members, which goes back to our soapbox. We're always on here about the difference between coaching and telling, is holding the space, having the deeper conversation more so than, just, well, why do you cherry pick Fran every time that it's up? But it's like, what's the struggle for you here? Why do I see your weight continually going up? Why do I see this? Like, let us help.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
going
one.
back.
Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead. No, you can go. My
Well, I'm
understanding
just
is a long
curious.
rant,
Like,
so.
I think to Lisa's point of like, some affiliate owners are going to be like, I don't want to have those conversations.
Yeah,
like,
they might not want to.
And for a good reason, right? Like, hey, our affiliate operates, we coach class. Like, that's what we do. That's our bread and butter.
Yep.
Training classes.
Yeah, sure. Train classes, call it what you want, but that's what they do. And so to get outside of that and to kind of reframe that, like, what's the offer? Like what can people do to like bridge that gap? Are there, what are the resources that make that easier for the affiliate owner to say, oh yeah, I will have that harder conversation because I feel confident and supported?
So I think there's two ways to answer that. And the first one would be if the lift for the affiliate is non-existent, like the owner's like, I am coaching 40 classes a week. Like, I have zero time to worry about this, right? Just being able to have in your monthly newsletter, put it on your website. Like, did you know that the CrossFit Medical Society is for community members also? And it's free for you too. And then the individual, right, can take ownership of their need or desire to like unpack what health means for them, right? Because we have free memberships for community members. They get access to labs. Like, they can own and regain their healthcare journey themselves. They get access to the directories. Like, it can be an individual experience, right? There's no onus on the affiliate owner except to possibly try and communicate and educate their community that may or may not know anything about HQ, right? Which is a sidebar. Like, my community members don't really give a shit about what's happening internally. They know that I'm their owner and what I tell them they will do, right? So it's as simple as that. And then for the owner that might not know where to start or where to begin, that's why I think the hope for us is that whether it's through in-person experiences at summits and other conventions or coming on to webinars, I just recorded one today for affiliate owners that we're going to post or whatever, that kind of talks about some of this stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be formalized, and it doesn't have to be anything in your brain of what the final expression is going to be. But like, how do you take that first step if you think that you want to understand more, right? And what are you most passionate about? And that's part of that education thing, right? Because the one thing we should always continue to be, right, I believe at least, is to put the effort towards wanting to continue to learn, right? And that helps us make informed decisions about what we want to and not want to do. But that, just like we want to improve our Fran time over and over and over again, right? Or get a little bit better at something, like, we've taken on the role of being a business owner, and we've been given the gift to be able to do it in CrossFit. And so the onus is on us and the responsibility is on us, right, to take that and do something with it. And it might be small steps at a time, but hopefully we can help them get there.
Well, I think the additional question, the follow-up, that, as you know, the playing affiliate owner, is where's the liability? I'm a little worried to add this kind of conversation in as an affiliate owner, like even nutrition, right? For a long time, that was kind of like, hey, stay away from it. Like, don't do that. You're not certified. You don't have the credentials to do that. So, I mean, I think I understand the answer to this, but can you say it for the masses? That's who listens, right? The masses.
The masses, right? I mean, so I think in any provider, I would imagine would somewhat answer this in the same way. But, knowing what you don't know is really important, right? And understanding where those boundaries are, I think, is part of the education process. And if somebody is talking about something that you're like, this is a level of conversation that is beyond my scope, right? Then the answer becomes, I'm going to refer you to the directory to seek out a healthcare professional that can be a better advocate for you, right? And then you at least have a path for them to go to. Nutrition is a whole messy bucket, right? And so that may or may not be the answer for some people. And like, that's why I know that there's organizations out there that help CrossFit affiliate owners kind of get a nutrition, situation up and running, because these can be heavy lifts, right? And so I don't know that it's necessarily like the formal execution of a huge health program. I think it's the willingness to have the conversation with yourself and with us about what it would look like for you, and just start there and figure out what that means.
Yeah, I think this kind of goes back to something you said, and I was going to try to avoid the rant, but here I go. So I'll try to keep this rant structured so I don't take up time, which starts with you're not just trainers and coaches, like you're healthcare professionals. That's essentially a lie, right? And the reason why I say that, though, is that most trainers are not. They are just trainers and coaches. Like, in fact, they don't even know the difference between the two of them. And so the reason I have to go back to that is that the onus is on you, back to your point of this obligation, because nobody owes you anything just because you wanted to show up each day, put gym clothes on, and coach and train and teach people. And there's a lot of that idea that exists inside the space, not just in the CrossFit space, but in the gym space in general. They're like, we're holier than thou because we get up and we do this thing. And to the point of that I guess I'm trying to make is that it's our duty, it's their duty, essentially, to know the difference between the two of them, between training and coaching, and understanding the implication, the application of those two things. And obviously, this is a soapbox that I climb onto on, I feel like, every episode of the podcast, but here I go again, right? But if you can't say on one hand that you're a coach, but then want to provide training, and then on the other side of it, provide training and vice versa. And this is where I think a lot of the trouble comes into. And the reason I start back here is because, to Carrie's point, or question rather, about, how do I sell this to my people? That sale started in the beginning, should have rather, like, meaning when those people first sat down with every single one of those people in the affiliate, somebody should have had a conversation, not about what you're going to do with them, but what it is that brought them in there today, what is it they need. And then from there, the next question should have been, or an exploration of the validity of what brought them in there today, right? Because a lot of them come in, I don't lose 20 pounds. I'm like, okay, pump the brakes, like we all do, right? Tell me more, right? And to Carrie's point, some people don't want to have that conversation, and that's okay. And so we need to make sure that those people are like, hey, listen, I'm out, right? I want to just I want to be an influencer. I want to sell my Big Booty Judy program. I want to do my thing. I don't actually know anything about health, and that's uncomfortable to me because I think it's the gray area where everybody lives in the middle, where they're just like, who am I? What am I? But if you care about people's health and you're here for that and you want to become a coach, and that means to spend more time learning as opposed to knowing and teaching, then the obligation there for you is to evolve to the point where you are comfortable having conversations. Because so many people, I think a big problem is that you'll run into with this, and everybody runs into it in CrossFit in general, is that nobody knows how to market it, right? CrossFit. And so not you guys. And the reason is that so many people are so worried about telling you or thinking about what CrossFit should be. They don't necessarily think about what CrossFit could be. So when a new person sits down with them, they tend to sit down and say, oh, here's what we're going to do. Constantly very high intensity functional movement, yada, 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 all these things, instead of what do you need? Right? I know I'm going to use CrossFit, but it doesn't really matter. I don't have to tell you any of those things. And so this becomes an additional value add to that, because it's more about, instead of worrying about how you're going to tell somebody, I guess it's to answer Carrie's question, rather than sitting down and telling your clients and your members and your consults and the people that come in, here's what we're going to do. It just starts with questions, right? You fill this thing out and you get to a point, and at some point you'll likely get to, I can remember doing this even with the InBody, and I would get high visceral and high ECW scores. And I was like, you got to go to your doctor. They're like, what? I'm like, no, like now. Right. And the amount of people who did, and they were like, I was like, the numbers are there. Like, they should not be there. Like, I can't help you with that. And so to answer the question, it should have always been the way CrossFit was sold, because you should have never been selling CrossFit in general. You should have been providing it. But the thing you're selling is a healthcare solution. And this all kind of goes back to the marketing part of it. But in order to have that marketing conversation of how you apply CrossFit, not tell people what it is that you do in CrossFit, that goes way back to, are you a trainer? Because trainers will tell you what CrossFit is. Here's what we're going to do. Constantly very high intensity functional movement, 3 to 5 days a week, mix and match it in as many variations as possible. And a coach will say, what brought you in today? Right? There's a big difference there, and they're marketed very differently. A gym can do both of those things. And I think this becomes an awesome opportunity for people to be like, oh, because it's not just CrossFit anymore. Like, this would be way too much to pitch to somebody. So now they get to sit down and say, we got the whole thing covered. We're going to spend the next week, assessing you, diagnosing you, exploring, what it is that you're currently doing. And then we'll make some assumptions, and then we'll set you up moving from there, which is the exact same model that we follow with the affiliates. That's why we always say our model was meant to be stolen, is because it was literally the gym model. Right? Like, you come in, you sit down with me. Do I believe in you? Okay. Do you have an actual, logical, tangible reason for what you're actually after as a goal? If yes, okay, sign here. We spend the next week getting to know you, right? We use the 9 foundational movements not to teach you anything, but to explore what's actually happening, right? You get some other options. But then from there, here's your prescription, 3 to 5 days a week, nutrition, etc. Do this and come back. We'll sit down again in 20 to 30 days and we'll regroup, right? That was the exact same thing with FitFilliate. And then, like, you and I got in this conversation about affiliate owners in general. You can't just keep giving people things to attribute or to solve for their symptoms. Like, somebody's got to get to the root causes. And affiliate owners are uniquely poised to get to the root problem if you just stop giving people things to say no to when they sit down, if that makes sense. And I think that's kind of the end of my rant, but it becomes one of these big problems. Affiliate owners need to step back and say, okay, it's not what CrossFit is, it's what it can be. And the easiest way for me to do that is to explore that privately without telling them that that's what we're going to do.
No, I love all of that. And I think even beyond, is it for every affiliate owner? Even if you would die on a hill saying this stuff, it might not be for every member, right? I don't shove this shit down my members' throats, and it's I'm in it, right? And so it's a very personalized experience, right, of where anybody is on their journey, whether they're the affiliate owner in their journey of business ownership and coaching or development or whatever it is, to the same point that the community member, the individual, is somewhere on their fitness and healthcare journey as an individual, right? And so we're not going to line up and do InBodies every other Friday together as a group. Like, that's not what we do. And so I think it comes back to the resources and the education that should just be available for anybody that wants to explore this in a way that is meaningful to them and provides them continued source of motivation and the will to get up every day and go into the gym and figure out how they're going to continue to change people's lives, right? Because that is what we do. And so if you can arm yourself with more stuff, in your bag of tricks or, weapons or whatever, like it just allows you to be a stronger pillar in your community. And what you do with it, it's completely it's your right? That's the beauty of being an affiliate. It's rules or tools, not rules. So
totally.
I think one of the things, sorry, Tony was talking about, well, one, I feel like my role here is generally like Tony translator or interpreter. Because Tony
I feel like everybody's role is that here. Sorry.
That's fair. It's an effort we all share. But to the coach or to the, like if you look at an affiliate setup, like I think there's maybe one person, maybe two in a typical affiliate that are selling, right? Like not a lot of people sit down to have that, hey, what's going on? What brought you in today? Not a lot of people have that conversation, but I think with this model, more people can have that conversation because the coaches could be having these interactions. And I'm not being prescriptive in any way of like what you should do, but I can see that being a benefit to like, hey, what's going on? Hey, you know what? Maybe you should talk to so-and-so about this issue. But I think the way we need to frame this for, the coach or the affiliate owner is to say, hey, like, when you're trying to break through on, the snatch, right? We don't get highly technical. We don't say, well, it's external rotation and, this is how you need to spin the femur and do this and that. Like, no, we go, hey, you want to take that little bar there and you want to ground overhead. Like we simplify it as much as possible. You want to put it over your head. That's where we're going to go. And I think because what I've experienced thus far is the vast majority of affiliate owners got in because they really enjoy training. They didn't get in because they really love the nuts and bolts of the business running. So to give them an example of this is the thing, like this is how you get in there in the business piece of it and speak to these people. Keep it simple, be brief, like don't overcomplicate it. But we have those mechanisms within, training, right? And picking movements. We know those things. We go to the L1, the L2, but where does that exist for them as business owners? Say like to not overcomplicate the situation.
But I think, like to your point as well, Kerry, some of the affiliate owners are so stuck in that scarcity space that I just need to get people in, just need to get them to classes and we'll sort out the rest when we go. I don't have time to, if I say to people, come in and have a chat first, they're not coming in. Like I just need to get them in, get them started, and then I'll figure it out. And of course we know what happens. No one ever goes back to figure it out until 2 years down the track. And, Bob's got a problem with XYZ, which we could have intervened in step one. But again, I think it comes back to affiliate owners being open and receptive to a different way of thinking about what they do and framing it differently and understanding, like, Jen was saying, like this change in the health and fitness market is coming and you're either on the bus or it's going to run you over. But you've got to open your mind to understand the potential of this and understand, like to Jen's point as well, that it's not going to be for every member, but you still need to have the conversation so you can figure that out.
Yeah. I think a side of it that makes it maybe make more sense, and I think Jen, you and I talked about this in the Carrie, I think you and I talked about it. I think for affiliate owners, we're so divorced from sickness that we don't necessarily understand what the average person faces. But like the joke was between you and I when we were talking was, how people should want to try to fix their affiliates, right? Like we have a sick care problem in terms of how people are trying to address and fix and save the affiliates now, where everybody wants to layer on the medication, the solutions, and the cures to all these problems that exist, but nobody's actually getting to the root part of what's actually wrong with an affiliate, right? That nobody's figuring out how they got to where they need this quote unquote sick care. And so I think there's a big frustration in the affiliate community because of that. And this thing is present on the other side of things in terms of the healthcare space. And so I think you guys understand that if you're listening to this as an affiliate owner who's been preyed on and been given these medicine and these cures and these quick fixes and these things that, don't necessarily solve root problems, and you find yourself back in the same situation, I think you now are at a place, the affiliate landscape is now at a place where they realize I don't need somebody to give me a cure to my affiliate. I need them to help me better understand how I keep getting in that situation in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that's important in this conversation is that as they sit down and they try to figure out how they're going to talk to people about health and prescription and things, it's the same way. You don't need to give them any advice, any training, any teaching, any biology, any chemistry to solve their problems. For the same reason that FitFilliate doesn't do that to your affiliate, right? Instead, all you need to do is tell them, I'm going to get to know you, and then together we'll figure out what it is that you need, right? And that becomes a prescriptive model. And they already have the elegant solution, so to speak, right? They already have the prescription. They already have everything they need to know. It's not about learning more. It's just about applying it. And so when these people sit down with them, and hopefully that's the key takeaway here is like, hey, maybe just start sitting down with people. Because if you can boil this down to one thing, maybe we just start talking to people. I feel like this comes up on every podcast. Everybody's so worried about what they're supposed to say to people. They stop thinking, they're like, oh, wait, maybe I should just try communication. And I think it just really goes back to that. And I think it crystallizes it as an affiliate owner being like, I'm sick of having people in my inbox selling me medicine to fix my affiliate. And the same thing's happening to these people who want to come in their gym, but they don't know who to go to now, right? And I know you're over there. It's the same reason I'm over here being like, I'll help. We'll get to the root. Just come over here. And they're like, you're going to sell me more medicine, right? And so now it's your time to earn their trust because the Health 3.0 is here, right? We know that to be true. Millennials stop drinking. People are healthy. Everybody's out running 100-mile races now because the marathon is too simple. Like people are different post-COVID. They're not going to walk in to a CrossFit affiliate unless you stop talking to them about being a CrossFit affiliate and start talking to them about being a health home.
100%. And there doesn't have to be major significant changes to what happens on a daily basis if we're able to peel back exactly a lot of the things.
Argue almost no changes, right? Like nothing changes in day to day.
Right.
Just
and
talk.
And it's like I probably spend, Tony, you and I talk about this a lot, but I probably spend a lot of time talking to affiliate owners that are like, okay, so tell me what to do. How do I create my health home? And it's like, what are your resources? Who do you have in your community?
How you gonna do it for me?
Huh?
You just gonna do it for me?
And it's like, and literally like last week, it was this amazing long 13-year affiliate owner, and she's fantastic. And she's like, well, I have an InBody. Great. Let's talk about what you want to do with it. Right. And like, I don't have the answer for everybody. We don't have we don't have a pop and drop thing. Like I'm not scaling my private practice because it works for my community and it's not going to work for yours. But it's very conversational to unpack some of these things. And you're right about Medicine 3.0, not only to the millennials, but the good doctors are going to leave too. The doctors that are full, that know what they're talking about, that you can't get in to see and all this stuff, that are getting screwed by insurance companies.
Totally.
That's why they're going to cash pay, because they're burnt out. Like it's just another layer of dysfunction. And especially to people that are healthy, that are not their problem, that they're not going to be making money off procedures and medications for, like we're getting left aside, but we still want optimal years, right? We still want to have longevity and lifespan, or health span into our lifespan. Like we still want that. And we're starting now, and we're probably better off than 87% of the country, but like we still want the support from healthcare providers that want to also help us live healthy, happy, long lives, and access to those is changing. And so it's a big ecosystem. Like none of this stuff is easy. And for us, one of the main things was just starting education and awareness to all the affiliate owners that can be the center of this changing ecosystem if they want to.
And I think, as we get to the point of sticking a pin in this one, because like it's been a huge, there you go, a huge meaty topic and one that needs to definitely be discussed. But I think, for affiliate owners, understanding that it's not just about liking the soundbite clips from, Tom or yourself or, stuff they were seeing from CrossFit Health and they like it. They go, yeah, that's what I do. No, get educated, ask questions and have a conversation. Like reach out. I know that you guys at CrossFit Medical Society are more than happy to have, conversations like, how does this look for me and my community? So, our message to affiliate owners is to reach out. We'll put your links in the show notes for everyone to connect with you. But get educated and ask questions. Don't just assume, A, this is what I do, or B, if it is, great, but can you do it better? And utilize these powerful resources which are here at your fingertips. So I think the work that you guys, it's no secret, we're a fan of you guys and the work that you're doing and changing the space. So we appreciate you and can't wait to have you back on again. And I know it won't be very long at all.
Well, thank you very much. It was nice to chat with all of you as always. Yeah.
Even Tony.
Hit us up. We're here. We want to talk.
Sometimes it's exciting. I'm glad you guys are running it. I'm glad you're spearheading it. I think what's important as a final point is that, like, for 20 years, it's been a great time to be a CrossFit affiliate, period. And the reason for that is that CrossFit had an infinite ability to innovate and iterate and to meet and exceed whatever the new norms are. But what is awesome is that Health 3.0 is another one of those opportunities. And so it's a very exciting time to be a CrossFit affiliate owner. And because of the work that you guys have made available to them, that saves them from having to do so much legwork, going out and getting the resources and networks and trying to compete with these big box, big retail, big budget opportunities or, outfits. And so yet again, here we are, another great time, an amazing time to be a CrossFit affiliate. But the only reason that we've been that way for 20 years is another takeaway, is because you guys have all been individuals and innovative. So stop trying to be the same.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.